working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
Yo. What up? Welcome to the program. You're now tuned in to Let's Go Live with Lamont King. I am Lamont King, and we are officially now live. Let's go. Let's go. Good to see y'all. We made it. Another one. We got another Tuesday in the books. Appreciate y'all for sticking around. You ain't had nothing to do with it. It's bigger than you. All right, this is what we do every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 East Coast time. Shout out to everybody watching on the West Coast and worldwide. Something like a live podcast, something like a daily stream, something like a good goddamn show. All right, trending topics, celebrity interviews, hilarious commentary, and interesting people. And today, one of those is going to happen, if not all four. This is how we do things here. We are broadcasting live officially from the newly remodeled Drunken Fruit Studios.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.
Thank you, Lord Jamar. You know what I mean? Appreciate it. Good to see you. Newcomers, what up? Peanut Gallery, thumbs up on the check-in. Facebook is back active again. So YouTube, Facebook right now. Appreciate y'all. Yes. Shout out to our sponsor, Drunken Fruit. So Brennan Hayes, we might have to bring you on here to do a client testimonial, customer testimonial. It says Drunken Fruit was amazing. He finished the whole thing. Supposed to take your time, Brandon, but we appreciate that. There you go. You heard it from the people. Unsolicited. All right, there we go. All right, a little bit of housekeeping. This is what we do. We are 100% viewer supported by viewers like you. So we appreciate any and all patronage by way of Cash App. Dollar King, Lamont King 06 for viewer support. That goes to all of our production costs and everything, and which is not a lot right now, but we would like for it to be more. And of course, you can become a patron at our Patreon, patreon.com, Mr. Lamont King. Full shows and bonus clips. Full shows. And yeah. All right, and be careful with the Cash App, man. I just had a Cash App scare last night. They tried to fish my bank account. Someone, I found out, this is how I felt last night, but I got to the bottom of the dirty details today. Somebody created a Cash App and then tried to fish my bank account. Well, so from what I understand, after the investigative research was done, they got a hold of my debit card number from a point of sale terminal. I haven't been able to pinpoint which one it was, but I think it was a gas station. And if it was a gas station, that would be my second time in 2 years. So ladies and gentlemen, keep your head on the swivel, watch your back. The advice I was given is when you go to a gas station and you use your debit card, first of all, out of force of habit, I do debit, but they advise you to do credit at the pump with the card. But go to the pump nearest the booth, because what happens is scammers put the little card readers on the booth, on the pump furthest from the booth. One of two reasons. One, it's out of sight most of the times, out of the near camera. And two, here's the unfortunate part. Two, and this is a true story. Call your friends in law enforcement. Two, most of the times, the gas station attendants, owners, workers are in on the scam. True story. Through my little investigation, this is what I found out. A lot of times, by way of, I guess you would call old school if you're watching an old detective show, they're being extorted, shaken down by the local scammers, D-boys, trappers, whoever's doing nefarious activity at that gas station. They might say, hey, look, if you don't want me busting up your store all the time and smashing your chips off and coming through there and taking a broom and knocking everything over every weekend, let us do a little work outside. And a lot of times they let them do it. So they're skimming. They have a card reader, skimmer on the pumps. And a lot of times the attendants, the owner, they're looking the other way. So I may have got hit like that yesterday. So anyway, they set up a Cash App account and was phishing my bank account. They hit $1, $1 7 times. And then when the 7 one went through, they pulled out $100. So luckily the bank I bank with sent me the little notification. They're not advertising, so I'm not saying their name. So this morning we got it cleared up. And I got that 100 at 7 ones back. So there's that. Keep your head on the swivel, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2020. Don't be surprised. Don't act shocked at nothing. Nothing. Oh, there we go. Use cash. Yeah, but who got cash out here? New Jersey's all full service. Yeah, but you can't trust the little people at the pump neither. But yeah. Anyway, so protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your head on the swivel. Also, by way of protecting yourself, in today's news, I have not watched any of the Supreme Court nominee hearings out of for reason of self-care. Listen, don't be surprised. It's 2020. That's the motto. Stop acting shocked, black people. She's going to get nominated. I mean, she's going to get confirmed. Just prepare for that. The little clips that I have seen, on Twitter or whatever, her answers are pretty much on code. She's on page, on script. So barring some egregious stunt or revelation, she's going to get through. Shitstorms are coming. I mean, we have to deal with those facts. Those are the facts. So don't get wrapped up in things that are beyond your control and get your fingers all, I can't believe it. They did it again. So anyway, to that vein, our guest today, man, coming up in a few minutes is, I had this, I had these questions. I saw the Trump's rally, over the weekend at the White House, when he was out the balcony and he had everybody in those little teal shirts or whatever, and just doing some digging, man, unpacked it and realized that they were all paid, man. That wasn't even people made fun of the people that showed up to that rally. And I'm like, damn, it wasn't even organic. Like, I can't even make fun of that because it's not like people was like, oh, I'm going because that's my guy. They were like, oh, they paying, I'm going. Like the level of foolishness attached to every move that he's making now, it just caused me to ask some questions. And I found out that Candace Owens was the lead organizer of said rally. And it just made me wonder, man, I would love to have another black Trumper, if you will, or even just a black conservative on to just rap, get their vantage point and their perspective on a lot of the shenanigans that's been going on recently with their party, man, to hear their side of it, man. We're mature, educated peoples. We could take on and listen to different viewpoints. So I wanted to hear instead of just me talk. I want to hear. So that's going to happen today. You know, the old saying is left wing, right wing. There's two wings on the same bird. So we're going to kind of dig into that today. So good to see y'all, man. Glad y'all tuning in. I see the numbers going up. That means people done brought people. Peanut Gallery, what up? Get your G's up. Yeah, get your G's up because it's going to be an interesting conversation. A couple quick things I want to get to before that, though. I don't know if you saw this in the news. I thought this was funny. So shout out to the Los Angeles Lakers once again. They finally get to lead the bubble. LeBron get to go home and whip Bronny Jr.'s ass for smoking weed on the internet, wilding out at the house while he gone, trying to earn a living, and you out there playing. You ain't got to ask for nothing. You out there playing like you a street dude, and you're not. Chill out, Bronny. I know it's got to be a hard life. It got to be a rough life to have everything and spotlight on you and you know, and still try to be a kid. That's rough. I'm not judging. That's rough. But anyway, I thought this was funny. So they was leaving the bubble, right? The Lakers was on the bus celebrating and all that, and Quinn Cook got left behind. Shout out to Quinn Cook, local product. Around the way, PGDC dude. 2 rings now. I got one with Golden State too. But this is funny. So J.R. Smith, the only way they found out was J.R. Smith was on the live, and he commenting on the live. All right, this is funny. Let's watch this. This is J.R. Smith live on the bus as they're pulling away from the bubble.
Was always Snoop from there. QC! What QC at? Yo, we left QC, bro.
What are they talking about, bro? Niggas be hating.
Hey, yo, hey, yo, QC said, tell him to come back and get him, yo. Cheese, we left him. We left QC, bro.
QC got the fly.
The city got to fly.
got the fly, boy. I'm back in the red boy.
Now that's funny. I don't care who you are. Like Larry the Cable Guy used to say, I don't care who you are. That's funny. That right there is funny. He got left. And they on there talking it up too. I mean, relax. Deion Waiters, he like, man, niggas be hating. They living, man. Shout out to them, man. I wonder who he was talking about. They be hating. But yeah, smash too. I don't know what they was on, champagne, but can you imagine 90 days in a bubble? Well, I guess you could, because we've all been. Most of us have been in a bubble, like a quarantine, if you will. But 90 days, man. Being away from your it's almost like I don't want to compare it because it's not the same, but being away from home. I wasn't gonna say deployment, but yeah, man, you professional athlete, you win the chip, you get to go home. It's like, now what? Now what? Back to normal. And you know, LeBron got to go home and really get into Bronny Jr., get into parenting. Because not enough. He raising all your kids, being a role model to all of the youth of the world. He got to go home and straighten it out with his own son, own knuckleheaded son. So yeah, there's that. Thought that was funny. All right, let's go to another one. All right, so some thug news. I saw this story. It's kind of unfortunate, man. These thugs out here, man, they're running rampant, man. They're just violating, doing damage, and running amok in our city streets, man. And this one story really hit home. To show that we got to stop these thugs out here, and regardless of the age, man. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all saw this story right here. Did you hear the one about the 11-year-old that stole a school bus? And he led police on a high-speed chase for 45 minutes in Louisiana, flipping off the police and everything. Hey, man, what is you doing, little fella? Social media users documented the bizarre police chase. Let's read it together. Let me make sure y'all can see it on screen. 11-year-old boy in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Police say the boy taunted them and flipped them off during the 45-minute chase on Sunday. He said the boy was able to climb into the school bus that belonged to a contractor working with the Head Start Elementary. The boy eventually crashed the bus into a large tree in front of a residence. The homeowner said they were stunned to see police arrest such a young man after the crash in their yard. Wait a minute, we got to see the video. Got to see the video. The story ain't nothing without video. Hold on. Let's watch the local news story about the chase. All right. Man, he tore that bus down.
15% off. Save on the Ninja Foodie, $279.99. Take 50% off all starter bedding. Get up to 40.
Y'all not spending no money with us, so I can't give y'all that full advertising. Don't do it. All right, get to the story. All right, here we go.
Now to that wild ride caught on camera. An 11-year-old on a school bus isn't unusual, but it is when the child is behind the wheel and leading the police on a high-speed chase. Ariel Reshef joins us with more on that story. Ariel, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. When police say that 11-year-old stole that school bus from a Head Start center, leading police on a wild and dangerous high-speed chase that spanned nearly 13 miles and lasted nearly half an hour. A chaotic scene in Baton Rouge caught on camera. Dozens of police cars in pursuit of a stolen school bus. The chase lasting 13 miles.
I don't know what's going on, but it looked like somebody was stolen the school bus.
Behind the wheel, an 11-year-old little boy. Police say the young suspect allegedly intentionally tried to hit another driver in his path. The high-speed pandemonium coming to an end when the bus slammed into a massive tree in the front yard of this couple's home.
A minute after that, because they got the little boy out of the back of the truck.
You can see the young boy surrounded by 4 officers, arrested on 4 charges, including aggravated assault. And remarkably, no one was hurt in this incident. This child has been charged as a juvenile. Police still trying to figure out how he got the keys to that school bus and why he may have stolen it. Guys.
All right, a lot of questions, but again, thankfully, no one injured. Ariel, thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans.
Yeah, Robin, chill out. Yeah, man. How did he get the keys? How did he get the keys? Here's how. That wasn't his first time taking a vehicle. Unfortunately, glad he's okay, but that was not his first time. And you know the skill level it would have to take to commandeer a school bus. I mean, you got to respect and admire. I don't know. In this picture, he looks like a little boy of color. So I take back the thug title, and I'll just say he was passionate. He was ambitious. I mean, he's really, when you're that committed to learning, and when you have that much love for school, that you're willing to take a school vehicle, you know what I mean? Because it was sitting there doing nothing, sitting there idle. They don't drive themselves. He was tired of this virtual schooling. He wanted to get back to class. What really is the matter? Now, granted, he could have hurt some people, but 13 miles in 40 minutes, he wasn't going that fast. Who'd he really hurt but the system? The only thing that really got hurt was the tree and his feelings. And we need to nurture and rehabilitate. And first of all, we need to find out, what's going on at home. Make sure he's not mentally ill. We shouldn't rush to judgment so fast. He definitely shouldn't have been in cuffs because they already got him out of the vehicle. So salute to this young man. Salute to this young man. They said, all right, let's go to the peanut gallery. Y'all got some jokes. Taraz said it was push to start. Okay. All right. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Clarkson said he really loved school and he wanted to get there faster. That's, Head Start. There's that. He's trying to graduate. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so John Watson did say Head Start already. All right, great minds think alike. Head Start, the joke was already done. All right. There's that. But I wish him well, though. All right. Here's another one for your dirty friends. I don't know. This was news. This is all weird stories today. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not breaking no news. It's 24-hour news cycle got that covered. These are stories that I found interesting, and I think you should know. And you might find it interesting too. Did you know this? For you jean wearers, you wear of denim jeans. Did you know? Hold on, I gotta get my G, make sure my G's is in order. Did you know? Because I didn't. That you ain't supposed to wash your jeans. I did not know that. But here's why though, and I thought this was pretty interesting. Because denim jeans, whatever, that's a big thing. They're expensive, stylish, trendy, depending on what kind you're wearing and what they look like. But let's read this story. Levi's CEO got a special message for all you jean wearers out there, which I didn't know. Levi's CEO explains why you should never wash your jeans. All right, laundry is inevitable, but thankfully there are people like Levi's CEO and President Chip Bergh who want to make our lives a little easier. According to him, you should never wash a pair of jeans. Again, you should never wash a pair of jeans, ever. While this may prompt noises of disgust from those are less than enamored by the idea, I hate when I'm reading a credible website, and they like literally have a grammatically incorrect sentence. I'm like, don't y'all pay people to put a the right here or an right there? It just it gets under my skin. That's a pet peeve. While this may prompt noises of disgust from those that are less than enamored by the idea of walking around in dirty clothes, Mr. Bergh explained that he spot cleans any stains with a toothbrush. He recently tried to explain his point on social media. He said, the point I was trying to make, it was a wake-up call to consumers that we go into autopilot, and after we're finished wearing something, we just automatically toss it into the laundry. Yeah, because that's the way we was raised. If you got outside on your clothes, remember your parents, your grandparents, you used to tell you, wash some clothes, you got outside on them clothes. First of all, what the fuck is outside? How is that a scent, a smell? Is it like a film? What is outside? So anyway, yeah, I don't understand how his rationale, and he definitely ain't, this ain't selling more jeans for him. This is what I call white-splaining. That's what it is. So, all right, he goes on. A good pair of denim don't really need to be washed in the washing machine, except for very infrequently or rarely. I've heard this before. His argument is based around the fact that the washing a good pair of Levi's actually causes damage to the material and is a waste of water. He said he's not the only expert to come out with this advice. Wheat Denim says raw denim is best given a good 6 months before wash. Hey, nah, man. No, man. 6 months? You got kneecap sweat and crotch sweat in your jeans? All right, the reason for this is that the indigo, I guess that's the dye that they use, will have worn off in places where you make natural creases just by sitting down, putting your phone in your out of pockets, your hands in your pockets. All these daily little things will make your jeans look great. When it comes to the big day, the indigo will fade where you made those little creases to reveal the contrast to give it the well-worn look. I guess that, that is a thing because people buy their jeans that way to look like that. So he's saying if you just leave them alone, normal wear and tear will get the look that you desire. Again, something trendy. But is it hygienic? I don't think so. So there it is, folks. Your choice. Man says never wash your jeans, if at all. Kind of disgusting. But anyway, shout out to that. All right, those are the last of the stories that I wanted to get into today. Have a little fun before we get into our conversation with our guest for today. So let's go ahead and keep it moving right about now. This gentleman is coming to the program, man. I found him through some mutual contacts, and I was trying to have a conversation with a prominent black conservative. And this guy popped on my radar, reached out to him, and invited him on the show. And he said, absolutely. So let me read his bio real quick. Currently, he is part of the North Carolina Republican Party's General Counsel team. And in 2016 and 2020, was a delegate to the North Carolina GOP State Convention. He founded the College Republicans at Morehouse College in 2001. At the time, first chartered College Republican chapter. It was the first chartered College Republican chapter in the country since the 1960s. His name is Harold Eustache. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Harold served in the U.S. Army from 2004 to 2010 in special operations with a top secret clearance and has combat deployments to both Iraq and Afghanistan, where he was awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge and 2 Army Commendation Medals for actions in combat. After the Army, Harold attended Wake Forest University School of Law and served as a prosecutor from 2014 to 2018 in 2 North Carolina counties and is currently in private practice. He's also a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. All right, let's go live with Harold Eustace. Welcome to the program. Am I saying your last name right?
You are. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good.
Good to go. Welcome to the program, man. First of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you, and I appreciate you having me.
All right, so what we're doing here today, man, I'm trying to have a direct and upbeat, friendly conversation about opposing viewpoints.
Right.
And so just recently, with the climate of everything that's going on in the political landscape and what we're seeing on the news, just me personally, I find it hard to relate to or understand the perspective of Black Republicans, right? I'm familiar with Black conservatives, but Blacks for Trump, to me, is it's a phenomenon. So I wanted to get to you in your own words, how you got to the position of being a prominent Black conservative, what your position is now, and why you still support the president, commander in chief.
Okay, well, I think the first thing is, one, I think Black conservatives don't do a good job of really talking about what it means to be a Black conservative and making sure that everybody, in our community understands, why the hell are Black people conservative in the first place, right? And I think that's just something that on the Black conservative movement needs to be talked about. But for me, I think it's just kind of a couple reasons as to why I'm a conservative. It has to do with, a lot of upbringing, I think, and that's true for everybody probably. But when I was young, I would read a lot of Henry Louis Gates and Cornel West and read Alex Haley's autobiography of Malcolm X, and that really had a huge effect on my life. And initially, when I say that, people are like, "Well, how does that go to being a conservative?" And I think of it this way. I think as a Black man, I believe that a couple things. One, that our strength and our power and our ability is what made America what it is. There's nothing more American than a Black man. We've been in this country for 400 years on this land, on this soil, and we built it with our bare hands through free labor, and we didn't ask for it. But this country is ours more than anybody's. There's no group of people that have a better claim to the United States than we do. And as a people, we have represented everything in our actions that the United States hopes to be. And so I think it's looking at the prism of our Blackness and looking at us as Black Americans as a unique group of people that have unique abilities and have brought so much to this country. And in that, looking at it in the sense that, I feel like, I think I went from reading the autobiography of Malcolm X and being like, hell yeah, I can do anything and we can do anything. And I damn sure don't need the government to do anything for me because my ancestors said so, really. Because, and it goes to that initial sort of belief that the government really isn't the answer to the problems of the Black community. And at its core, from between the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, at the core difference is what is the role of government.
Okay.
And I think, we can get into a whole philosophical political science debate about that.
But
it goes to that initially.
So explain that. So,
traditionally, the left and progressives think that, there's good reasons for it, that government influence and government has an important role to really change behavior in society and maybe change and shape outcomes in society, right? And the Republican Party and conservatives tend to think, well, government really not only does it not shape and change outcomes, it actually hurts outcomes. It inhibits people to be their freest and best selves. And so it's just a classic argument. And I think that's also absolutely true for the Black community too. I think that, when we look at the numbers, between, the civil rights movement and now, And you can look at different metrics to kind of gauge where we are as Black Americans. We're certainly not any better. The wealth gap hasn't changed. The number per capita, sort of the number of Black people having graduate degrees in the 1970s was higher than it is today. And so my argument there is that a lot of these policies that we're voting for haven't gotten us much of anything.
Okay.
But it's really a belief, as far as a Black conservative, is a belief that the sort of belief that the government doesn't solve our issues, that we can solve our issues, that I'm not looking to have a white person tell me my life matters. I know it matters. I don't care if they, ultimately they're never going to look. This country has a lot of racism, right? And I think that our energy is wasted as Black people by trying to petition white folks to like us more. Okay, that is wasted energy and wasted time. And I feel like the Democratic Party and the progressive left, they are so consumed with, look, if I could just get them, if I could just shape them to make them like us, it will have an outcome on us. That's good. Well, one, you're not going to change their mind. So all you can do in life is change yourself, whether it be a person, a relationship you're in, or our greater community. We can change ourselves, and we have the power to do it.
Now
to that part, as far as Trump, right?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Let's slow walk. We ain't in a hurry. We ain't got no. I'm trying to pick your brain. So I want to hear all of it. So we'll get there, because a lot of what you said makes sense. I mean, Black people historically are a conservative people. Now, I'm using the actual definition of the word. I'm not saying that we're historically Black conservatives, but we are conservative. Your grandma told you can't just do what you want to do.
Right.
Everything ain't for everybody. Whereas that liberal mindset, that progressive mindset, is not historically us.
Right. Sure.
But to that point, I don't believe, I don't subscribe to the belief that Black people are automatically democratic. Even though historically, in the last 60, 70 years, that is the way that we have voted because of, Voting Rights Act, Civil Rights law, under those, social services, under FDR. There was kind of a switch in positioning for Black people en masse. But two wings, left wing, right wing, two wings of the same bird. If you believe that the Democratic Party takes Black people for granted, do you then believe that the Republican Party, by way of their inclusion or diversity efforts, do you believe that they're pandering to Black people?
Absolutely. I mean, I do. One of the issues I have, if you're just asking me flat out, one of the issues I have with the Republican Party, and I say it all the time, is, it's this sort of Black voter outreach nonsense that I think it doesn't work. It is, it's done in a way that tries to pander to Black voters, and people see right through it. I don't like when some folks in the Republican Party try to come to me and say, well, there's this Black thing, and so you got to do that Black thing. And I think, how do I say this? Some of my friends that are into politics on the Democratic side, they don't like that I say that, because they think that it's so important for us to be talking about race all the time. And I actually disagree with them. I think, and there's a few reasons why, but I think first of all, practically, if we want Black people to have political power in this country, one, we got to win elections. And in a state like North Carolina, for example, there's never been a Black governor in either party. There's never been a Black senator in either party. There's never been a Black lieutenant governor, never been a Black attorney general in over a century, ever. That's in either party. There's never been a Black head of the Democratic Party in North Carolina, right? We're talking about half the voters of the Democratic Party in North Carolina are Black. No power. None. Why? For a century. Just keep on voting for them, right?
And you don't think that's not about race? You don't think?
Well, I do think it's about race, but I also think that, as people, Black people that want to have influence in politics, when I said that the Republican Party come to me and want to talk about race and wanted to pander, I don't subscribe to that, and I think it hurts Black potential political candidates in both parties when you're trying to become the president of the NAACP instead of win, a major district that's 70% white with, 1 million voters, right? And so to me, the best example to look to is the best black politician ever, as far as just pure politician, not who I agree with. That's Barack Obama, right? And so what did he never talk about? Race.
Right.
Never. He's like the only black politician that gets it. Like, why should I ever talk about race when it's going to make me lose? So, and then
not that he couldn't have or didn't want to, but it was strategy. He knew so
that's my point. Strategy.
But that's not going to work in every scenario, and it's not going to work for every candidate.
I'm not saying it's going to work for every candidate in every district. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But my point is, we're not winning, and we can cut it however we want. We're not winning, and I think part of that is because you've got to appeal to everybody on some level. You've got to be able to do that to win in districts that aren't gerrymandered, just the one district in a state like North Carolina for a black person. We've got to be able to win multiple districts. And, and going back to Barack Obama, he won. He didn't win that Democratic primary on the backs of black people. He won Iowa first. And that's a state that's 95% white. He won that primary first. And so I think, I think that's that sort of mentality of pandering in both parties really, I think hurts us. And I certainly I don't think the GOP does a good job. I think the GOP would be better served to get black voters if the GOP was more authentic and straight up about, hey, this is what the conservative message is. Let's cut the BS and stop trying to act like, if we get some cool black celebrity that's not even that cool, was cool 25 years ago, that votes Republican once, and that's going to somehow get black people. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
And I think, just a more authentic, appeal to black voters to say, hey, think about this practically in your life. You just go through a bunch of issues and where do you stand on those issues really? And sort of just kind of a come to Jesus about why you vote the way you vote.
Now, to the point about race and Barack Obama, I feel like he was a special case. He was a unique case, a unique time in history. He was to white America. He was safe and articulate, a combination that they were not familiar with. So he didn't necessarily we black folks were waiting for him to talk about race or to deal with it. He knew that he had to be the sacrifice. I'm gonna get this 8 years in. I'm gonna be the first in the modern era, first black in the modern era, to really pave the way, open the doors, and fall on the sword and open the doors for whoever comes after. That I think that was his legacy, my personal opinion. But to your point about race and the reason why, I think black people, we grow up being bilingual. Yeah. We grow up code switching. We grow up. Right. We don't necessarily have to talk about it. But the fact that they refuse to talk about it or acknowledge it, at the same time being obsessed with it, it causes the conflict and confusion. So when we talk about actual political parties, right? For you, the commander-in-chief currently, he literally hijacked your party. He literally hijacked it. Right. You, like I said, the points you made earlier make total sense to me. Like, it is a black conservative to me is not a shock, but a black Trump supporter is. So, in your words, explain to me why, at this stage of the game, you would still support President Trump. Well,
and I think that's where kind of the conundrum is in 2020. I think for a lot of people. Is about this sort of parsing out this thing between Trump and Republicans. For me, there really isn't that. To me, that whole Trump supporter thing, you never hear Republicans call themselves Trump supporters. That's a thing that not never, but very rarely. And I'm around Republicans all the time. Okay. It's just not something people say. You just say you're a Republican, right? Okay. You hear that more on the left. They want to make this sort of strange difference between Trump supporter and Republican. Trump is just a Republican. Okay, he's just a Republican president that ultimately is crazy as hell, but does all the things policy-wise that any Republican president would do, whether it be Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz or whoever would have gotten elected, would have probably done 90%. Do you believe that? You believe that? But policy-wise, I think there's absolutely. I mean, What policy I can't think of very many policies. I actually think Trump has done more progressively. I think more progressive policies than I think, a lot of Republicans would have done.
Give me three. Give me three that were progressive.
Sure. I think the first one is the First Chance Act. First Step.
First Step Act, which was written under the Obama administration.
And I think that's an even better point, right? I mean, it says my point.
You can't use that as his point of origin. It's not. He didn't originate that.
It doesn't matter if you originate. The fact whether you originate or not doesn't matter. I think that's sort of irrelevant. What matters is, and if it is relevant, it matters that it was originated under Obama, and a Republican president would even fathom even touching it. A Republican president should throw it in the trash, right? But instead of throwing it in the trash, said, "This is a good idea. Let's actually do this." And frankly had to really pull Republicans in to do that. A lot of Republicans did not necessarily want to do that, but really, this administration was the one that pushed that. I think
give me two more. I can't give him that credit. That one got to go off the table.
I can't give him that credit if he signed the bill.
Yeah,
I mean, he did.
They have been working on that for like 4+ years.
And I get that. But one, it didn't get done under a Democrat. I mean, whether they were working on it or not, I'm not saying they weren't. But this president did. I mean, just facts, straight up facts. Whether you like it emotionally or not, straight up did make an effort to do that. That's one. I think two was the HBCU initiative that a good friend of mine, Congressman Mark Walker, here in North Carolina, really, really pushed. They've been working on that before Trump was elected. Several Republicans have been working on that. Several Southern Republicans, Tim Scott and Mark Walker, and some other Southern Republicans have been working on how do we help HBCUs, especially in the South. And it's something that the president didn't have to do, but it is something that he did. And look, there can be discussions about whether he went far enough or whether it was good enough. But the fact that we have a Republican president and they're actually talking about HBCUs at all, even knows what HBCU stands for, I think that says something. I think that's something that is
and also recently it came out that he's talking about cutting the funding as well.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that about cutting the funding, but I do think that. And frankly, I think that several HBCUs have been saved because of this administration. I think there was many HBCUs that were going to go under. So I mean, to me, that's another example. I'm not going to say this whole platinum plan thing because that's an idea at this point. That hasn't actually become sort of cognizable legislation on any level. So, I mean, I do think it's bold for a Republican president to say, I want to make Juneteenth a holiday, a national holiday and stuff like that. But until we see that actual bill signed, I think that'll kind of determine that. But I still think the idea itself, to put that idea out, is a bold thing for a Republican to do, and I think it's a great thing for a Republican to do.
Now when you watch him, and you see he's lying and you know he's lying, does that affect you anyway?
Well, okay, as far as you're asking me this question, that's kind of presupposing that I know he's lying.
Well, we know, and when there are times when you're watching him when you're like, that's not all the way accurate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can't think of one politician that I've ever watched that is all the way 100% accurate, or that I 100% agree with or love. I mean, to get to this really greater point about this election, people are like, "Oh, Trump." Nobody talks about the guy they're voting for. Elections are affirmative votes; they are not negative votes, right? You go into an election and vote for a person.
Well, that's good in theory, but in
actual practice,
but all the ads are negative. But all the ads, we're conditioned and trained by the ads.
Well, what I mean is, when you go check the box, you would check the box for a name.
Okay, got it.
So if you vote for Joe Biden, it doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump, Jim Jones, or whoever the hell else on the. It doesn't matter if there's no names or every name. That's the affirmative person you're voting for. And so, to me, this is a binary election. And so people can point out flaws, right? And say, well, Trump is this or this stupid thing. And, I may agree with half of those things. I may be like, yeah, he's an idiot for that. Or I agree with that or don't agree with that. But that's called being a voter. I mean, I don't get why progressives have this sort of cycle of like derangement that like everything Trump has ever done, I'm going to point out all the negative things, and that will somehow make Republicans float away and vote for a Democrat. That's not going to happen. Just like Republicans thinking, if I point out that Joe Biden has 10 times as many racist statements as Donald Trump, which is a fact, this is not even arguable, 10 times as many actual statements about black people.
I would think that that's arguable. I would think that that's arguable.
I challenge every person listening to this, every single person, if you want to go line for line, just about black people specifically, that are on the record quotes, not an anonymous source, not somebody. I'm talking about you can see his face, and he said that Joe Biden's got a ton more. He's got from the 70s on. Anyway, but my point to that is, even pointing that out doesn't necessarily. You may agree with that and say, you know what, he's not the best guy. I wouldn't really for him all that much, but damn it. Does that mean I'm going to vote for Trump? No. Republicans are doing the same thing. All right, well, Trump is crazy as hell, but does that mean I'm going to go all the way over and vote for Biden? No.
So do you believe that politics is only partisan based? There's never a time where you deviate from your party to say, you know what, I'm going to be on the right side of history. I'm going to, vote my interest and do what's right. Is there ever a time where that takes place?
I think when people say that, the way it falls on the ears of most Republicans, it sounds so ivory tower to Republicans. It's like, we are the righteous, smart people. Won't you just listen to us? It doesn't. Voters are all smart on all sides, and they all think about their own interests.
No. I'm asking you.
Oh, me? No, you're asking me. Okay, gotcha.
Is it all partisan?
Right. So it's not all partisan for me, right? I mean, if a Democrat was going to do, policy wise, the things I wanted, sure, I'd vote for him. But then that would kind of make him a Republican, right? So it's not for me about like, because he's a Republican, he's got to be a great person, I'm going to vote for him. No. And there are things a person could do that would make me think, this person just, won't be good. But for me at this point, this president has done enough to still have my vote as far as what he's going to do policy wise. And for me on the other side, it's also that there's not a strong enough candidate on the other side to make me even look that way. I mean, I'll be honest, if this was an election between Barack Obama and Donald Trump, I might have a different way. Probably still vote for Trump. But
you might.
I could look at that and say, this is a better candidate, a better idea. But the candidate you guys have is not going to draw my attention away. I don't know his attention.
Well, I'm neither a registered Democrat nor a registered.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not saying when I say you guys, that's my fault.
So no worries. But as a black man, right? When you see your president struggle and fail to denounce white supremacy, what is that? How does that make you feel?
I put this out on social media. I hated it. I mean, I get that this president has been asked that question more than other presidents. I get it. But you're the president. And when you're on the biggest stage with 73 million viewers and, you give that half-ass answer, it's not good enough. I mean, I think it wasn't good enough. I saw what everybody else saw. I know that he said, I know that he said it multiple times. I get that. But on that stage, you got to say it there. And I hear it's disappointing, I think, for me as a black man. It's disappointing. And I've said that publicly. I don't have any problem. I mean, but again, is this a disappointment in a candidate, right? You could be disappointed with Joe Biden saying something stupid to a black reporter like, are you on drugs? Or then saying, if you ain't black, I mean, you could be disappointed. Does that mean you're voting for Trump? I mean, that's the question you got to ask yourself. Does that mean I'm voting for Biden? No, it doesn't mean I'm voting for Biden. It means I'm disappointed.
Well, that's a good point, but I'm asking you, and from your perspective and your vantage point, that's not a deal breaker.
I think it's absolutely disappointing. More than disappointed, it's infuriating. I didn't like it at all.
So can you acknowledge that for the past 4 years he's empowered, emboldened a segment of society that would see you walking down the street and hate your guts, and he's woken that up? Would you agree to that?
I don't think he's woken it. I don't know that he's necessarily woken it up. I don't think that these sorts of elements of our society have been invented under Trump. I don't think there's, and even the evidence show that, extremist groups on all sides are not invented in 2016. They've been around for a long time.
Sure, but he's made it more comfortable. He's made it more comfortable for them and more acceptable for them to be out in the open. I mean, you see the commentary that Lindsey Graham had last night, where he says you can go anywhere. Black people can go anywhere they want in the state of South Carolina, as long as they're conservative. I mean, this is language that's just unheard of.
Well, okay, I got it. That to me, I mean, I could see if I'm joking and running for office, I could say something like that. As long as they're voting for me, we're good. I mean, people say that. I didn't take that as a racist comment. I didn't. And if I did, I would tell you. I mean, I don't care that there's plenty of racists to go around, right? In my opinion. But I didn't see that particular comment that way. But I do think that that this president has a worldview that I think when you say emboldened, I get what you're saying. I think he has a worldview that is sort of nationalistic in a sense. I mean, and I'll tell you, because I was in the military, a part of the military that is very not diverse. As far as, we talk about Army Rangers and Navy SEALs and stuff like that, part of the military that is very different than most of the military.
Right. And
the mentality there, a lot of times, is that, there's this equation, and I don't want to say this without pissing people off, but there's this equation that, strength and toughness and whiteness are go hand in hand.
Yes.
And so, I think that this president is sort of, he sees, I think, and I don't know this and he hasn't said it, but I think he sees that in himself the same way as a black man see it.
Right.
I see that when just me getting up here and saying we have that strength, we have that in us as black men. I think he probably thinks that about white men, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I mean, I think that's okay to think that, because but hear me out. I mean, I can't sit up here and say, hey, I see this strength in black men, and then be upset if somebody feels that way about their own race. I think that's okay to feel that.
But it's a little different though. If their pride, their nationalistic pride, is set up to prevent you from.
Yeah, then it is. No, I agree. If it becomes about preventing me from doing something, then that's where the problem is.
But you don't think that's what it is now? You don't think that's...
I mean, I don't necessarily, and even me saying that about Trump is me, sort of making conjecture that I don't know. I do think that Trump wants to help every single American, just like, I think Barack Obama did too. And I think there's a commitment to trying to do that as much as possible through the policies that you want. I do think that there's that commitment there, even if I think he does take pride in his heritage from his parents and grandparents, which I think every person on some level does. I mean, I think you go to any family and you go to a family reunion, you really get down to the nitty gritty. There's talk about pride in their grandfather and where they came from and all that stuff. We do that in the black community. I think white people do that, and I think that's very human to do that. So I don't think that's necessarily that big of a deal.
Interesting, very interesting. We're talking with Harold Eustache, black conservative. And now, let's be clear for the folks that are watching. This is not an attack. I'm not trying to I really wanted to pick your brain, man, because it's a unique time in history where we're watching the Black Sit movement. We saw the recent campaign rally at the White House over the weekend, which I found out later was paid actors.
Well, okay.
T-shirts organized by Candace Owens.
I know a lot of those people that were there personally. I know at least 30 or 40 of them.
Okay.
I'm not involved in Blexit. I don't necessarily. I don't know Candace Owens. Okay, but I don't align with her. And so every black conservative is not the same. Just like every black Democrat's not the same.
Sure.
My thing with Candace Owens, flat out, is that to me it's disingenuous if every time a black man is killed by police, you automatically start talking this nonsense about, well, what was his criminal record and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that. Because to me, I can, as an actual person, as a black man, I can look at George Floyd and say, no, that's ridiculous. That's not just ridiculous. That goes to black life. All right, I changed my profile picture to Ahmaud Arbery for a month, and Republicans might have got pissed. I don't care because to me, the fact that we've got these vigilante groups, doing neighborhood policing, right, riding around in a pickup truck and kill a black man, that's about race. Because the reality is, me as a lawyer, and my brother who's a lawyer, my dad is too, and successful black men, I can't ride around and police a white neighborhood and get away with it. That's about race, period. And to me, that Candace Owens can't see the difference. Because I can talk about Breonna Taylor and say, I do think the grand jury got it right there. I can. But I can look at, I think you're disingenuous when you don't look at the facts in every case and say, this is probably me in my career, this is what I do, but look at the facts in every case and saying, hey, what are the facts here? What does that actually mean? And what should the reaction be? Because if it's just always one way, I don't take that seriously. And I think Candace Owens, to me, is not. I don't think she's for us in that sense because she's not actually looking at the facts. She just automatically jump into this, and I hate that whole thing, and that mostly conservatives are doing, where if a black man is killed, it's about his criminal record. Well, I was a prosecutor for years. Last time I checked, you get in trouble, you get arrested. You don't get killed, right? Sorry, my dog's crazy. You don't get killed, right? And so that's I think super, super important to remember for Candace Owens. That, I don't think she's credible that way. I'll be right. 2 seconds.
No, okay, you good. Go ahead, handle your business. Interesting, man. This is what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. Mature conversation. I just got a couple more questions. And we'll wrap it up. Very enlightening, though. Very enlightening. It's always good to hear different perspectives, especially the ones that you have.
Yeah, so I think that's my thing with Candace Owens. I think that she's just, I don't think she's credible there. Yep.
All right, couple final points, and then I'm gonna let you go. You talked about facts and being a prosecutor, and we saw recently Trump coming out against the 1619 Project and saying how America needs to focus, American educational system needs to focus back on patriotism and telling the positive story of our beginnings. When we know, historians and researchers know that a lot of that is just not based in fact. What is your position on him going against the 1619 Project?
I understand it. I mean, I think that I think both things need to happen at once. There needs to be a telling of the history of, black people in this country, and all that we've done. And I kind of alluded to that at the beginning of what I. Right. But I do think that this notion that the retelling of our history is about telling it that America's some terrible, horrible, horrifying place that we should hate. I don't think that's not only do I think that's wrong. Substantively, I don't think it's useful for black people because I think just on its face to have the argument for black people that we're separate from America. We're saying we're separate from America, and white people are saying we're separate from America. Then it feels like we're in cahoots, and I don't think that works. And I feel like what I mean by that is that the 1619 Project, I think, is to me, makes this sort of delineation that that black people are separate from America itself, and it's America that's attacking black people. When I think that we should change that perspective and say that black people are America. We are part of America. America is a country with lots of different people, lots of different backgrounds, and it's just there may be a group of white people that have obviously had black codes and Jim Crow and slavery and all that, but it's not America in that sense. And I think
it's not systematic. You don't believe it's systematic? You believe it's lone wolves in a group of people?
No, I think at this point it's not necessarily. I think at this point it's hard to say it's systematic right today in 2020. But what I would say is that, as far as the 1619 Project, kind of going back to that, I do think that it's it's a retelling of American history in a way that I wouldn't necessarily be for. I don't. Do I think that the way the administration is sort of portraying wanting to get rid of 1619 Project is a little ham-fisted? Yes. And, but I have a problem with him making the 1776 Project? No, I don't. I don't have a problem with
that. Interesting. All right, spoken like a true ex-service personnel and patriot. What on this final question, and I'll let you go. Do you believe the president had COVID?
Oh, come on, man.
That's the last question.
The president had COVID.
Come on, you can't be serious. 2 days, he's bionic. He's a superhero.
You know what he said? He said, "I'm a perfect physical specimen and I'm young."
And he said he's immune to it.
Well,
he is the vaccine. He's the vaccine. Hey, man, Harold Eustace, man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for spending a little time with us, giving your perspective. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything, man.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy. All right, there it is, y'all. Hey, you gotta listen and hear, from people you disagree with, or it's all about perspective, man. The only way we really can get a sense of and learn how to navigate, because he's not by himself. And although he made some viewpoints that are easily understood, there are a lot of them who I've talked to who I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, where did you get that? You know what I'm saying? So, we know what's at stake. I'm not here to sway you one way or the other. I'm just, you got to hear it, man. You got to hear it. You would be surprised in your family, at your job, coworkers. You would be surprised. So you got to hear. You got to have an understanding. You got to have your counters ready. You got to have your facts. Got to be researched. Got to be read up, and really know what's going on out here. So I appreciate for him even coming on, because at first he sent me the email and he was like, what's this? What's it about? And who be watching? How many people? And how long? And all this. Because I know they constantly come under attack, which is understandable. And for good reason in many cases. But I'm always open. Hey, both sides of the table. Morty, if you got a suggestion to somebody you want to hear from, come on the show. Let me know, and we'll have the same rap with them too. All right, we've reached that point of the program. It was one more thing. Did I talk about the leave out? Oh yeah. And before we get to that, we're gonna play a little game real quick. It's called Guess Who It Is. Before we head out of here, I thought this was interesting too. I always gotta go to the internet. Tweet of the day. Guess who this is? I wish I had like a little timer. I don't have a timer. Of course, now the page doesn't come up. All my G's. I ain't got my G's. And that conversation was real serious. Wait, let me switch. The conversation was real serious, so I ain't even really get a chance to go to where I wanted to go. I wanted to play. He seemed like he'd have been with it though, but I wanted to play this while he was on. It didn't work out though. He seemed like he'd have been with it. This is what I wanted to play. Y'all see this? What is your man doing? What is your man? He's dancing to YMCA. Hilarious. Man, he ain't had no COVID, man. Y'all knock it off. All right, and this last one. Like, what are you talking about, fam? Like, legit. What are you I wanted to play this while he was on.
What? Now they say I'm immune. I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience. I'll walk in there. I'll kiss everyone in that audience. I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women and everybody. I'll just give you a big fat kiss. No, but there is something that, what? Now they say I'm immune. I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience. I'll walk in there. I'll kiss everyone in that audience. I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women and everybody. I'll just give you a big fat kiss. No, but there is something that What? Now they say
Ridiculous.
I'm immune. I
What
feel
is
so
you?
powerful. I'll walk.
Man, this dude just be winging it, man. Blacks for Trump up front. Winging it. Hey, still don't get it. Falling for the big con. So dark, the con of man. All right, I can't get this page up, so we'll bring that back tomorrow. All right, we've reached that point of the show, man, where we like to leave on a lesson and hear a word from an elder in a segment I like to call Hi Dad.
Happy everyday, brothers and sisters. This is Alpha Papa with today's reflection. Uplifting phone hugs. I'm happy to say that I am truly thankful for the phone hugs that I receive every day, sometimes twice a day. Since early March, I have not been able to see my family or friends face to face. I can feel the concern that they have for my health, and my concern for their health is the same. I tell them that duct tape and Gorilla Glue are holding me together, and that statement induces laughter. We need to keep communicating, going with our families and friends on a regular basis. Your voice is a powerful, uplifting tool. We all need a hug. Peace and blessings to all. Alpha Papa.
All right, y'all. So there it is, man. So let me put this up real quick. We way over time. Look at what's going on, man. We might have room for Roland Martin today. Cash App, Lamont King 06. Viewer support. Appreciate y'all so we can have more money to bring more grifters and try to get Kim Clayson going. I see y'all in the chat. I appreciate the Peanut Gallery. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to our guest, Harold Eustace, prosecutor out of North Carolina, military vet and Black conservative. I appreciate you for coming on and sharing your viewpoints. Everybody else watching, hey man, check us out tomorrow, Lord willing, 6:00 East Coast time. And damn it, we almost, but now we don't have time for Roland Martin. So I'll try to squeeze you in on another episode of Let's Go Live. I appreciate y'all, man. Stay safe and stay out of trouble.